Module 3 for the course deals with probability. StatCrunch really isn't that useful for probability except for one problem. And that comes in Module 3, Lesson 1. The very last problem is question 31. It says this: you roll a pair of six-sided die and record the sum. The first thing I want you to do is list all possible sums and determine the probability of each sum. So we can see a visualization of this before we jump into StatCrunch. Let's just kind of visualize it. Roll 1, we roll the die 2 times, so we got to think about what happens on the first roll. Is you could either roll a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. That's all possible outcomes for your first roll. And then we think about roll 2. So what could happen is you could roll a 1 for the first roll, and then another 1 for the second roll. Or maybe you could roll a 1 and then a 2, a 1 and a 3, a 1 and a 4, a 1 and a 5, or a 1 and a 6. And then you could do that for each one of these. You could roll a 2 and a 1, a 2 and a 2, so on and so forth. I didn't leave myself very much room. Let me space it out a little bit better here. So you could roll a 3 and then a 1, a 3 and then a 2, a 3 and then a 3, a 3 and then a 4, a 3 and then a 5, or a 3 and then a 6. And so we're going to do that for each one. You could roll 4, 1, a 4 and then a 2. You get the idea. So this means you roll a 5 and then a 4, a 5 and then a 5, a 5 and then a 6. Uh-oh, I didn't leave myself any room for a 6. Oh, what can I do? Maybe another piece of paper here at the very end. I could roll a 6 and then a 1, a 6 and a 2, a 6 and a 3, 6 and a 4, a 6 and then a 5, or a 6 and then a 6. Okay, so that's all possible outcomes. Can't even fit in the screen there, but I think you get the idea. And then we're going to add the 2 rolls. So let's start adding, okay? 1 plus 1 is 2. 1 plus 2 is 3. This sum is 4. This sum is 5. This sum is 6. This sum is 7. Okay, here we go. And now we're going to keep adding. 1 plus 2 is 3. 2 plus 2 is 4. Then we got a 5. And we got a 6. And we got a 7. And then we got an 8. 3 plus 1 is 4. 3 plus 2 is 5. 3 plus 3 is 6. Okay, so here's all of the sums. Now what? 4 plus 1 is 5. 4 plus 2 is 6. And then complete the rest of that. 5 plus 1 is 6. 5 plus 2 is 7. Then 8, then 9, then 10, then 11. And then last one. 6 plus 1 is 7. 6 plus 2 is 8. Then 9, then 10, then 11, and then finally 12. So what are all the possible sums? The lowest sum we got is 2. We got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So all of our possible outcomes is we got 2 is the smallest, all the way up to 12 is the largest, and everything in between. So all of our possible sums here, let's go ahead and type this in. Our possible sums are, if I can get it oriented the right way, 2, 3, separated by commas. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 are all the possible outcomes. Determine the probability of each sum. Okay, well, here we got to figure out how many possible outcomes do I have. Well, let's see here. We got 6 here, 6 here, 6 here, 6 here, 6 here, 6 here. We got 6 outcomes 6 times. So we got 36 possible outcomes. 36 possible outcomes. And now we got to find out, well, what's the probability that we're going to get a 2? Well, out of these 36 outcomes, how many times did I see a 2 was only once. 1 out of 36 there. And they want me to round to 3 decimal places. Okay, well that's fine. For the 2 is 1 out of 36. For 3, how many times do I see a 3? 1, 2, 2 out of 36. I'll change these to a decimal in a little bit. 4 is going to be, you can count it up, but it's going to be 3 out of 36. 5 is going to be 4 out of 36. Okay, so let's just mark these off. Let's make sure that that's right. Let's count up the 5s, make sure that happened 4 times. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now let's count up how many 6s do we have out of 36. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 out of 36. How many 7s? My guess is 6 out of 36. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Did I miss one? 6. 6 out of 36. How many 8s? I'm trying to make this a little bit bigger for you guys. Let's see how many 8s I got here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Uh-oh, so now we're going back the other way. 5 out of 36. How many 9s? I'm guessing 4 out of 36. How many 10s? My guess is 3 out of 36. How many 11s? 2 out of 36. How many 12s? 1 out of 36. Okay, so there's all of the probabilities. I got 36 possible outcomes. I had to count how many 2s did I see? 1. How many 3s did I see? 2 out of 36. How many 4s did I see? There was 3 4s in my list. Okay, I know you can't see the whole list, but you can imagine yourself doing this. All right, and now they want decimals. So I got to figure out what is the decimal equivalent of 1 out of 36. One out of 36 to 3 decimal places is 0.028. 0.028. And now how about 2 out of 36? 0.056. And now 3 out of 36. 0.083. And now how about 4 out of 36? 0.111. And now what? 5 out of 36. 0.139. Oops. And now what? 6 out of 36. .167. And now we're to, where are we at? Right here. 5 out of 36. Well, now we're going back, right? So now we go back and fill it the other way. 0.139. So now I'm going back up this way. So you can see 0.139. Next comes 0.111. 0.108. What did I say? 0.083. 0.056 is next. And then last, 0.028. All right. That's good. Now what? So that's what should happen. Now they say what you need to do is you need to simulate rolling the die 100 times. Let me get this out of the way so you can see what I'm talking about here. Okay, let's look and see what this says. It says, the data table in the problem shows 100 simulated rolls of pair of die. Okay, so they're talking about this table right here. So if you click on the table, it shows a simulation of rolling 100 die. Okay, there it is. This is where StatCrunch comes in handy. So you're going to have to take this simulation and upload it into StatCrunch. And now StatCrunch tells us what happened for each roll. Okay, roll 1, you got a 5 and a 4. What was that sum? It was a 9. And that's fine. We can go and we can add up all 100, but that's going to take a long time, right? Let's let StatCrunch add these up for us. And how we're going to do that is we're going to create a new column here in variable 3. We'll just call that the sum. And the sum is going to take these two columns and add them together. How we do that is we go to data. We go to compute, data, compute, an expression. And the expression we want to do is we want to build, so click build the expression, where we add die 1, so click on die 1, plus, click the plus symbol, die 2, and now we're ready to go. And we'll go ahead and compute that. It put it over here in this column. That's okay, I can just delete this. All right, so this is the sum of these two rolls. Okay, that's good. And now the first thing that they're going to ask us is they're going to ask us, well, how often did you get a 9? How often did you get a 7? How often did you get each one of these? So what we can do is we can show how often we got that by looking at a histogram. So if we go to graph, histogram, and we're going to look at how often we got the sum. So click on the sum column and make sure that you put the value over the bar. Make sure you click that. And then that will tell you how often did you get a 2? Twice. How often did you get a 3? 7 times. How often did you get a 4? A 5, a 6, a 7. So each one of these bars tells you how often you got each value. I got a 2 twice, a 3 7 times, a 4 6 times, so on and so forth. So that should help. Right? I need that back up. And hopefully, I bet you that when I click this, this is going to go away. Oh, I knew it. Maybe I can bring it back up and it will stay there. All right, so I'm just going to have to write this down. And when I write this down, I'll go ahead and put these in. I'm going to go ahead and pause the video. I'm going to write these down. and then put in the tallies. Okay, so you can see that I got, from my histogram, I got the tallies. I put the tallies over the bar, and I then put these tallies in their place. So that's good. 2, 7, 6, 10, 12, 14, 14, 15, 9, 8, 3. That's what I got in there. The next thing that they want is they want the probability. And this is the nice thing about StatCrunch, is we can easily change this to probability by going to Options, Edit, and then instead of frequency, we can do relative frequency. And then hit Compute. I want the value over the bars. The values are over the bars. Maybe it's just too small. I'll go ahead and hit Compute again. Maybe make that larger. Okay, so there is the probabilities. So I'm going to go ahead and again pause and put these probabilities in their place. The probability of 2 is here. The probability of 3, 4, 5, 6, so on. I'll go ahead and put those in. After changing the frequency to relative frequency, I was able to take these probabilities and put them in their spots. So you can see these now match up in my probability. I'm ready to go. All right, so that made that very tedious task quite a bit easier in StatCrunch. All right, now we should be able to answer these. So we can take a look at the probabilities that we got from our 100 rolls and see that they're not the same as these probabilities. They're close, but they're definitely not the same, right? The probabilities we were supposed to get and the probabilities we did get, they're not the same. That's just because we didn't roll the die enough times. That's exactly what A says. It says the probability in A, that's what we were supposed to get, and B, they're not equal, and that's because 100 simulation rolls is not enough for the law of large numbers to apply. So that's what we need here. All right, hopefully that helps with question 31 from Module 3, Lesson 1.